On. Good morning, Facebook. Good morning, Instagram. Good morning, YouTube. Happy Monday. I'm back from my vacation. I've missed you guys. Um, all right. I have a good topic for you guys today. So I'm just going to wait for some of you to tune in. Thank you for tuning in. Those of you tuning in for the first time, definitely comment in the box. Let me know where you're tuning in from. So I can give you a shout out. My name is Aisha Chidole. If you don't know who I am an immigration attorney and I help immigrants seeking permanent residency or citizenship in the United States with that process. It doesn't matter what state you're in. I represent clients all over the United States, internationally, as long as you're trying to family immigrate to the US. Okay, so I see I had a post that had 20 million views. Let me just clarify that real quick. On Facebook, about my daughter's adventures and ours at the Blue Hole in Jamaica. With the Blue Hole, it's very safe. My daughters are fine, and that video is in slow motion, so it seems more intense than it really was. They've been competitive swimmers all their lives. They swim and dive and swim on a daily basis competitively. So that's that. If you would like to reach out to me, you can call 407-995-6567 to schedule a consultation, or you can send a WhatsApp 404-333-8751 to schedule consultation. So today I want to talk about Stokes interview and what to expect, at Stokes interviews. Good morning. I'm Chanel from Georgia. Good morning, Adekunle. And good morning, everybody on Instagram. What is a Stokes interview? So for those of you who don't know, a Stokes interview is an interview where you have a marriage-based interview, and they choose to separate the two of you. Okay. So sometimes that could happen in your second interview, or sometimes that could happen in your first interview. There are certain offices, certain immigration offices in certain cities that automatically everybody gets a Stokes interview, meaning they're separating you from the get-go. For most other USCIS offices, what happens is they will have you guys, what will happen is you do your normal interview, and based on your normal interview, if they don't like it or they feel like they need more information, they will then schedule you for a second interview. Your second interview is almost always a Stokes interview, and that means that they're going to separate you guys. So what to expect? So a Stokes interview is different from a normal interview, because with a normal interview, they're really just trying to get to know that you and your spouse have a bona fide marriage. So when they're asking the questions, you're both there, and they're asking you both the questions, right? There's really not a chance for slip up the way that there is with a Stokes interview, where they separate you guys and they ask you guys verbatim the same questions. Sometimes you could be in a normal interview, and based on the behavior or how one of the persons is answering, they could then say, you know what, we're going to separate the two of you guys. So a Stokes interview is much more adversarial. So what I mean by that is that it's not friendly. It's not friendly. Sometimes you could have more than one officer there. Sometimes you could have two officers there, or whatever it is. And that's where they get to the nitty-gritty of your relationship. I always say to every client, when you go to an interview with your spouse, no matter how many times you've been or how long you've been married, you always want to prepare as though you're going to be having a Stokes interview, just because you never know. So with a Stokes interview, of course, when they get out the main things, name, blah, 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 there's some core critical things that they're going to be asking. And sometimes it can last an hour per person, right? Where they can have maybe 50 to 100 questions per person that they're going to ask you. So you really need to know your spouse inside and out. There's no questioning that I've seen that they've not asked. They could even sometimes they could draw, like they could ask one spouse, draw your bedroom from the door. Where's the bed? Where's the window? Whatever it is. When they get to the other spouse, they could ask the other spouse to draw the same thing. They could ask you what color your cabinets, what color is your shower curtain, what color boxes did your spouse wear this morning? When was your last argument? What was the last major purchase that you had? When did you meet? There's certain types of questioning that, I feel like when they ask it and people forget it, it's not as bad as certain others. Some core critical things that you should know is you should know the cross street of where you live. Like sometimes they could ask you that, like, okay, you live at this address. What is a cross street? What is the closest grocery store to where you live? You should know that. You should know who proposed. You should know, did your spouse give you a ring or did they not give you a ring? You should know the kind of wedding you had, did you guys have a big wedding? Did you have a small wedding? If you had a small wedding, you should know the people that came to the wedding, what you did after the wedding. Another critical thing that they consider like bad, if you don't know, is if one spouse already has children before the marriage, and you don't know the children's names or the ages. Granted, I know a lot of times men flunk on this. Please, even men that's their children, a lot of times they may forget their children's date of birth and stuff like that. But this is one of those scenarios or those situations where you need to know. Your children's date of birth, your stepchildren's date of birth. You need to know where they go to school and who has custody of those children. Sometimes they ask about siblings. Sometimes, they ask about, who filed taxes. What was your refund? What did you guys get for your refund? Who pays the bills? Do you guys use a check? Do you guys use a credit card? Money order? How do you pay? So they really, really go into the depths of the detailing where even if even if you even if you've been married for a long time, for some people it can be a challenge. So it's one of those where when you have an interview, you should always prepare. Outside of just preparing, of course, if you have an attorney, you should be preparing with your attorney. But outside of preparing with your attorney, you should also still prepare. You should also still prepare on your own and then go over all the areas where you guys might not remember, just because you never know. And, a lot of times today, look at body language. If you go in there, you have an attitude, you look like you don't want to be there, you just make it worse for yourself. You make it worse for yourself. I always say this, go to these interviews with humility. You're trying to show them, look, I'm not trying to cause any trouble. I just want this green card, and I just want to live my life with my spouse. So that's really what to expect, at a Stokes interview, that you're going to be asked every bit of questions. Sometimes you get into questions on intimacy, as well. Just everybody is different. So you just want to be prepared for it. Okay, so let's see questions I have here. All right, it's like my Instagram has slow connection. Can you guys see me on Instagram? All right, guys, just hold on. What if my U.S. citizen spouse has a fraud alert at a bank and can't get an account? What can I do to join finances? I mean, there are other ways to show that you guys have financial entanglements. Are you guys filing taxes together? What bills are you paying together? Do you guys have health insurance? Dental, medical, eye, vision, and all those things that you're paying together. Leases, utility bills, all those things are considered, financial entanglement and bona fide marriages. So if you have any of all those other things, those things help. And if you have documentation showing that he or she can get an account because of XYZ. Can you guys see me on Instagram? I don't know. My Instagram keeps freezing. All right, I'm just gonna go to YouTube and Facebook while Instagram is working on fixing whatever the problem is. Gloria, good morning. My lawyer says my lawyer just sent an I-360. I see the prima facie. What can I do to send the work and travel permit? Gloria, you should probably be asking your lawyer that question. So I would suggest that you reach out to your lawyer since you have a lawyer so that they can assist you with that. Good morning, Davis from Georgia. I actually just got back from Georgia last night. Latoya says, will I go to the interview with my stepchildren, 16 and 19? Are you petitioning for them? Are they in the United States? If the answer is yes, most likely. If they're outside the country, no. Um, Good morning, Doris from YouTube. Macedona says, good morning from Washington State, my best law firm. Thank you. Good morning, Nikki. Doris says, how long does it take for the case number receipts to be delivered to my mail for a valid case? It depends. It takes a couple of weeks. It could take anywhere from 3 weeks to 6 weeks. Just depends on USCIS and their load. Can you guys see me on Instagram? Um, can you guys see me now on Instagram? Yes, Nat said, I saw you visit Jamaica. I hope it was fun. Yes, it was wonderful. Thank you so much. What if your spouse lied that he didn't sign the application, but it was a bona fide marriage? He didn't sign what application? What are you referring to? Um, okay. Didn't Till says, what is the point of a prima facie? A prima facie is a document that's given to you if you submit a valid petition. The prima facie is basically essentially saying that your case has been preliminary approved. It's not a guarantee that your case is going to be approved. It's just saying that the preliminary requirements are met. Now they're going to look through your application with a fine-tooth comb to see if or not they need a request for additional evidence or something else is going on in the application. Also, aside from it being that pre-approval, for a lot of people in some certain states, a prima facie will allow you to get a driver's license while you're waiting on your work permit. And then for other people who need public assistance or have been displaced from their home in certain other states, it will allow them to get public housing or public assistance while they're trying to get on their feet, and also with financial aid. So that is what the point of it is. Usually you'll get it for a year, and then after the year, they'll just continue automatically renewing it every 6 months until they make a decision on your case. Bomi says, me and my spouse were separated for a few weeks. We have our first green card interview coming up. Should we mention the separation? I can't give you legal advice. That is legal advice, so I can't tell you what you need to do. Hopefully you guys can work it out there. Everblessed said, what are the benefits of VAWA? With the VAWA application, for those of you who don't know, that is a why am I losing my train of thought? A VAWA application is a self-petition based on being in an abusive relationship. I have several videos talking about VAWA, including the benefits, but just to run real quick, it allows basically non-US citizens or green card holders who are being abused by their spouse, children, or parent to self-petition on their own and get their green card on their own and escape, and have their freedom from what they're experiencing. And a lot of times people want to escape those relationships but don't have the financial ability to do that, or don't have the papers to do that. So you being able to file your self-petition, get your work permit, and a lot of times people say, why are you always so happy when someone gets a work permit, whatever it is, and stuff like that. Because for me, it's the first step to freedom. For many of these people, they're like, well, Aisha, where am I going to go? I can't work. I don't have any money. So yeah, this person continues to beat me down and do all these things to me, but I don't have anything to do. So that really, for a lot of people, is their first step to freeing themselves from those situations, where they're able to work and they're able to live without fear. And then for a lot of other people too, they're very fearful that, okay, well, what if I submit it? What if my spouse finds out? And stuff like that. So, one of the things I would say to clients, USCIS takes VAWA and victims very seriously. And so they never send any letter to your house as a VAWA petitioner. They send that to your attorney's office. And usually we ask for a safe address before we mail something to you, just to make sure that you're safe. And, as long as you don't disclose it to your spouse, you're not going to hear from USCIS or from our office. So those are just some of the benefits. Also, you get a 10-year green card, which is a wonderful benefit, right? Because for many people, you need a green card. And after 3 years, you're eligible for citizenship. Okay. All right. Let's see. I have about 6 minutes. Dre says, hope you enjoyed your stay in my parish. And Anne, yes, I did. Thank you so much. Ashani says, good morning. I need to talk to you. Ashani, you know the process. Schedule a consult, schedule some time to talk to me. Okay. And if I'm not available today, you can also speak with my the other attorney that works here should be able to answer your question. Blue for the Blue says, good morning and thanks for all you do. You bring hope to the hopeless. Thank you so much. Let's see. Okay. Yeah, most of the questions here are asking about how was Jamaica. Like I said, Jamaica was very good. And for all of you on Facebook stressing out about the jumping, it's really not that serious. Okay, so let's see. So what is the wait time for the concurrent I-765 work authorization with VAWA right now? Why is this not clicking? Okay, there we go. Right now, wait times anywhere from like 6 to 9 months. You can fall anywhere. Some people, sometimes they get theirs earlier, sometimes they get it later, but you're going to find that majority of the people fall within that window. Misha says, how long does it take for a naturalization certificate? So are you already naturalized, or you're asking like the process for naturalization? So the process for naturalization, if that's the question, varies by state. So what I mean by that is every state has different wait times. So it's a hard question to answer without going to look at the processing time for the state. Like some states, it can take, the processing time can be from 6 to 12 months. Another state, the processing time can be from 13 to 20 months. So it just really depends. I can tell you off head, for instance, like Georgia is like, we're seeing like more like 15 months to 18 months, which is a really long time for naturalization, from the application to the interview. And then, you have Orlando, where it's a mixed bag. Sometimes we see 3 months and sometimes we see 12 months. So we have clients that all fall within that window. So it just really depends. And sometimes it depends on where they're being interviewed. So here in Orlando, I'm using Orlando as an example since, we have a lot of clients here. Sometimes you'll have somebody that lives in Orlando, if they live closer to Jacksonville, they may schedule them for the interview in Jacksonville. Or if they live closer to Tampa, they may schedule them for the interview in Tampa instead of the Orlando office, just as a way to push or to make things move quicker. So it all just depends. Let's see, what else do we have here? Shauna says, good morning. When you file for VAWA and you're in F2A category and it's current, does it take longer if you're married to a U.S. citizen? Do you mean, does it take longer than if you're married to a U.S. citizen? It takes longer if you're not current. If you're current, it's simultaneous. So it acts the same way, meaning the visa is available and you can apply concurrently. So it acts the same way. And stuff like that. As a matter of fact, I had posted yesterday about my client that got approved for a VAWA petition, and that person was an F2A and took the same time as somebody else that was with the citizen. Bavin says, the father of my kids is not legally married, abused me. What is my option? Do you mean that the father of your children abuses you, but you're not legally married? If that's what you're saying, you might want to consider if you qualify for a U visa, if you're willing to cooperate with the law enforcement to basically, apprehend the father of your children. So that's something you're going to want to decide to do. That would be your only path. But if you're not legally married, you're not going to qualify for VAWA. Simeon says, how can you share financial entanglement if he lives in Nigeria? The requirements are very different when you're doing consular processing, meaning that you're processing for your spouse outside of the country versus inside. The level of bona fides they're expecting are not the same. There's it's unreasonable to expect this financial entanglement or deep financial entanglement when the person is outside the country, because they're outside the country, so they're going to be looking at other things from a bona fide standpoint. And they're also going to be looking at making sure that your spouse that's outside the country knows and can answer all the questions that you've answered in your own forms. Okay. All right, Instagram. Um, so this person says if my kids are living in Jamaica, this is the last question. I gotta jump off after this. If my kids are living in Jamaica, their ages are 10 and 3, how long will it take for them to get through? I don't know. Are you doing it depends on if you're a green card holder or a US citizen. But right now, Jamaica consulate is very delayed in scheduling an interview. So I always tell people to just plan for 15 to 24 months, honestly, for your consular processing petition. If it ends up being earlier, then it's great. But just for you to set the expectation for whoever you're filing for, just because even though on the I-130 side, it could range anywhere from 8 months to 15 months for them to initially approve it. Then you move to the NVC. If the NVC doesn't waste too much time, or you don't waste too much time uploading stuff and your children's visa application, then they have to wait for an interview to be available. And that's part of what the problem is in a lot of the countries, where interviews are being backdated because of COVID. And with COVID, there was a lot of delay due to COVID, the backlog, because it was closed. So that's what you're up against. So yeah. All right, guys, I gotta jump off. But I'll talk to you guys later. I have a really busy week. I have 3 interviews this week. So, well, actually, yeah, 3 interviews this week. So pray for my clients. So I'll try it when I can to come on live. Generally, I come on live when I can between 9:30 to 10:30 a.m. So you can just hit the subscribe button and notification button, and you will get notification when I'm on. All right, guys, have a good day. Bye.